Hello, this is Jojana from Teachers Get Real. And here it is! The Roadmap of Teacher Challenges episode is finally available. This episode is a little bit different because most of it is a very dynamic presentation that I've created just for you. The best part? You have a massive download waiting for you at the end. And I would like to use this happy giving energy to also ask you to click on the subscribe button below so you do not miss out on any other fun stuff later on. Now that that's out of the way, and without further ado, I would like to switch to the yummy Prezi made to serve all of us, including visual, auditory, and kinesthetic people. By the way, I'm a true and sometimes hopelessly kinesthetic learner and teacher, in case you have not figured it out yet, and I cannot wait to make an episode on how does that actually work for anyone in the present education system. Any guesses? So, let me swap screens and present you the roadmap right away. Alright, I'm so glad you're joining me on this adventure, and as you can see there are many fun stops here. We are going to start with expectations. We have expectations coming at us from all different directions, and the least talked about ones are self-expectations. We are going to look at those too, but first let's see what others expect from us. So I have two questions for you here. How many different kinds of people do we work with? And do we have a predictable target audience? What do I mean by target audience? For example, if you work in a vegan cafe, you sort of know what type of people will stop by, what kind of questions will they ask. Do we have this type of predictability in our profession? Let's see what you have to say. Most of you think that predictability is close to zero because children, parents, co-workers, administrators, and leaders are all different. And on top of that, the whole makeup can change every single year. I have a few quotes that I collected for you and from you. The wonderful teacher from New York City says that teachers are expected to be doctors, lawyers, counselors, parents, nurturers, psychologists, etc. at the same time. I don't know if you resonate with this, I definitely do. Another teacher from Oregon says that there is a huge gap between administrators' expectations and classroom reality. A wonderful teacher from Europe, a music teacher from Europe, says that if I don't do my best, it will be somehow taken out on the kids and it will be always my fault. Those are her fears regarding expectations. Let's see what we expect of others. What we expect of students, parents, co-workers, administrators, the system, meaning both macro and micro level, the environment, and family members. Let's do a quick reality check here. It is often shocking and can be repeatedly shocking throughout our career. That was an opinion that I got quite often. Let's underline it with a few quotes. Lack of proper training and support sets up a lot of new teachers to fail. There is this sink or swim mentality. And another one, a lot of us are out there because we want to do something good. Often it is like you're trying to give a gift and people just step on it. This is regarding what we have as expectations in our profession. And the last one is this what I expected of myself? I love rhinos, and obviously I don't want to take it too seriously here, as you can see. Lifestyle, school life, and home life are our little bubbles here, and let's visit lifestyle first. This quote is coming from a first-year teacher, and he says, "Instead of working out, I binge eat and roll into bed. It makes it worse that I'm trashing my New Year's resolution again." I can definitely feel that. Let's see. I feel like I am caught up in a vicious cycle of guilt. If I claim my boundaries, I lose connection. If I ignore my boundaries, I lose my mind, says a teacher who works in a really rough neighborhood school, and finally she had a breakthrough with her students. At the same time, it felt like she has no time for anything else, not even for her own lunch break, because they want her attention constantly. And finally, home life. I think teachers have a hard time turning off school and work, so it often spills into family time and their home life suffers. That was the self-expectation bubble. So the next stop is people. People around us. This is a really fun meme from the internet. There are so many of them out there. I like this one because the reality check picture is really funny. But let's see who we actually have to deal with on a daily basis besides students. That's what most people who don't work in education see, that you have to deal with kids, right? Our reality is that we have to deal with the society, with our closer community, administrators, supervisors, co-workers, other staff members who are not teachers, parents, family members, and friends, etc. Those are all the people that we have to deal with on a daily basis. Is that right? Let's see what's in the workload bubble. I have a quote for you. I do not understand why you are so tired. All you have to do is play with kids. That's a quote from an ex-boyfriend, and in case anybody was wondering if that's a good enough reason for breakup, the answer is absolutely yes. Let's see what we do have to do besides teaching. That's what everybody else sees, right? That we have to teach. Besides teaching, we have to do tons of prep work for a lot of things, not only for the lessons, but for projects and for our own work, etc. Homework. If the kids have homework, we have homework too, right? Tests, trainings to be able to keep our license and to stay updated in our profession, ongoing trainings. Paperwork is a big monster down here. And in the digital age, you may think it gets easier, but I don't know what you guys think about that. I'm still overwhelmed with paperwork. Sidekick. We often have to do or want to do another job, which is a side job next to full-time teaching too. That adds to the workload. How about time? What do we have to make time for besides teaching several hours each and every day? We have to plan, right? We have to make time to eat and nourish ourselves. We have to commute. We have to participate in meetings and have a social life at the same time. I collected a few more for you here. For example, meetings, staff meetings, and parents meetings. We have to connect with the outside world on a lot of different premises, and we have to work around it, all that in our schedule to connect with everybody in different ways. We have paperwork to do all the time, and we have to take things, and often kids, outside of the school as well. We have to have time for all that. So let's see that in details. What do we have to do besides teaching, right? Teaching in the lessons. We need to do projects. I don't know if you agree, but projects around holidays that you have to do with the kids, that takes up a lot of time. Trips, field trips, school trips, etc. Meetings of all sorts. Preparation is here too. Of course, there are overlaps here, right? Events that you have to plan and deliver. Sick leave is important. Why? Because it doesn't matter if the kids miss days or you have some downtime. It's the teacher's responsibility to make up for that lost time, right? So that's what we always have to deal with. Home issues. Obviously, we are human, right? So if something is not okay at home, it can often and easily bleed into our work life, which is absolutely natural. Further training, which has to be there now yearly. And getting help. Now, this is an important one. Why? What I see that when teachers start teaching, especially in the first few years, they get so overwhelmed with learning the arts and crafts of this profession, that they absolutely have no time and capacity to seek for professional help, even though they would need it. And that creates a vicious cycle of having even more overwhelm and being more overworked and having even less time and capacity to get help. That's an important factor here. So our next stop will be money, honey. Don't get me started on this, one of you said. And there are two obvious elements here, salary and benefits, that I've put up there in advance. Let's see what else is in this particular realm that we have to consider. The extra income. Sorry to be blunt, guys, but a lot of us just simply don't make enough money with teaching, so you have to have those sidekicks to keep the money coming in. Mortgage and rent, we have to live somewhere, right? Retirement and savings, try to put some money aside. Paying for help, which is not only the occasional babysitter in case you want to do something with your spouse, but also, let's say, a professional therapist if you need it. Budget cuts have to be here. Why? I don't know how many of you, but I guess a lot of us are actually buying supplies from our own money whenever we really want to finish something with the kids. I have been there for years. And finally, our last stop is training, and I would like to give you a prompt here. Teacher training at its best prepares you for reality. Let's see. I have two questions here. Does the training prepare us for reality, and can the training prepare teachers for reality? I don't know how it is in those countries where you work and you were trained. I spent 7 years in different education systems getting my degrees in multiple countries, and I have not participated in a single class where they, for example, taught me explicitly administration skills, or time management was not there on the schedule either. And of course you can bring up a bunch of other things that should be there or could be there in our training. These are just a few factors for you to consider. And with this slide we got to the last stop, and I would like to thank you for your attention and also remind you to grab your free download at the bottom of this video. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me on this pretty long hike full of twists and turns and sometimes U-turns, and I cannot wait to take it on the next level, which is mapping out the self-care practices built on the very challenges we face. See you next time. See you next time. Next time.